welcome to a special presentation from Main Event Television where we're going to tell you exactly what is coming up next for Australia's former world champion, Tim Tszyu. Ben Damon is my name. I'm joined by No Limit Boxing promoter George Rose, and very shortly we will be joined by Tim Tszyu in Las Vegas. But George, tell us the news because it is very exciting stuff.
Mate, we have got some absolutely great breaking news. Tim Tszyu will be fighting for the IBF world title in his next fight. The IBF have mandated that Tim Tszyu and Bakram Murtazlayev will fight for the IBF world title. A huge result for Tim, a huge result for Australia, and a huge result for No Limit Boxing. And, you know, a huge credit to the team for making that happen.
Yeah, this is enormous news. So Tim Tszyu to contest for the super welterweight title that the IBF has. Bakram Murtazlayev is the undefeated world champion from Russia. He's based in the United States and he won his world title with a knockout victory against Jack Culcay earlier this year. Gee, it's a tricky fight. You've got to take it. It's a big world title fight, but credit has to go to Tim Tszyu. He's coming off what we saw in Vegas against Sebastian Fundora, that bloody mess of a fight, bloody Sunday here in Australia. But he's going straight in against an undefeated world champion that plenty have avoided along the way in Bakram Murtazlayev.
Look, absolutely. Everybody's avoided him on the way here. He's a tremendous fighter. It's a very tough test for Tim Tszyu, but with the amount of people that are stalking around this super welterweight division at the moment, the fact that we're able to lock away this world title is a huge achievement, and it's going to be a fantastic result for Tim Tszyu to get this opportunity.
So that's Murtazlayev you are seeing in action there on your screens right now. I'm sure for plenty the first time they have laid eyes on him. Just tell us, George, about the process, because a couple of weeks ago we thought that it was going to be Tim Tszyu in a world title eliminator against potentially Erickson Lubin or Jesus Ramos. That didn't happen, but now he skips that stage. He goes straight into this world title fight.
Well, look, we were excited about the Erickson Lubin fight. We would have loved the Erickson Lubin fight. This is even better. Erickson Lubin withdrew from the negotiations, and as a result, we've ended up in this position. Tim's moved to number one, and now he's been mandated to fight for the world title, a title that's there for the taking. The IBF world title is sitting there for the taking. You know, you've had Crawford just fought for the WBA and WBO. You've got Fundora with the WBC. So there's titles out there, and now Tim Tszyu is going to be fighting for one.
And finally, George, before we do bring in Tim Tszyu live from Las Vegas, where and when? Because we announced a little while ago Tim Tszyu's next fight would be on September the 22nd here in Australia, with news that it's now a full-blown world title fight. Does all that go out the window? Are you still working towards that? What happens now?
Mate, come on, give us a moment. We've only just announced that this has actually happened. So the fact that this has happened is huge for Australia. It's huge for Australian boxing. It's huge for Tim Tszyu. Right now, the negotiations start. We need to talk to Murtazlayev's team. We need to talk to the IBF, and we need to make this happen as soon as possible. So the negotiations will begin. And we'll be pushing hard for Australia. You know we love when Tim Tszyu fights here in Australia, but Bakram is the champion and he holds all the cards at the moment, but we'll be pushing hard. We'll make sure that we get this fight here in Australia.
OK, so that remains to be seen, but we know one thing for sure. Bakram Murtazlayev will be defending his IBF super welterweight world title belt against this man, Tim Tszyu, who joins us now live from Las Vegas, where he's deep in training camp. Tim, your immediate reaction to the news that it's now official, you're going to get a world title shot straight up.
Finally, actually, been patient for a long time, and to finally hear that it's coming out, that we finally got the news, it's good. It's making me pumped.
Tell us about Bakram Murtazlayev. He's someone that you will have studied and watched for quite a long time. He's an undefeated world champion. What sort of a threat does he provide to you in this, your first fight after your first professional loss, effectively?
Yeah, well, look, he's a world champion for a reason, but in this level and the level that I aspire to be, you just got to take them all out. So, you know, one by one, they will all fall. So I'm looking forward to this challenge, wherever it is. It's been a long time coming. The first time me and Bakram were first discussed was before the Tony Harrison fight, straight after the Charlo withdrawal. So I knew about him a long time ago, so I've had my eyes on him, and it's good that he's got the title now, and being mandated, he can't be hiding anymore.
plenty would have preferred a fight in between, a fight like what you went through there in Las Vegas against Sebastian Fundora and another world title fight against an undefeated fighter like Murtazlayev. Any concerns that you haven't had that in-between fight, that you didn't have your eliminator or a warm-up? Are you happy that it's happened the way it has?
Nah, zero, man. I'm lucky and blessed, and to be in this position to be fighting again for another world title. It's amazing, you know, and time to become a two-time world champ.
How do you think the fight plays out? We've had a look at some of the highlights of Murtazlayev. Clearly, the biggest victory of his career was a stoppage victory against the very experienced Jack Culcay. But tell us about a fight between the pair of you, because there's certainly some similarities in background in the way that you throw your punches, but where do you have your strengths, do you think, in this fight?
I don't know, man. We'll get to see on the night, but, you know, I think I'm going to come in nice and refreshed with this one. Here currently grinding in Vegas, currently working with the UFC guys at the Institute down there, so getting all my good sparring in at the Split T with Eric, so everything's going according to plan. I've become big on the 1%ers in everything to do with my life, so you'll see that on fight night and when I come out, and then you'll see the difference in everything between me and Bakram.
You've talked about that a fair bit in terms of the extras you're putting in since that fight against Fundora. Tell us about that. What does it do for you in training? What does training camp look like at the moment? And what will that do for you in the ring against Murtazlayev?
Right now, I'm just refreshed at the moment, you know, like just ready. I'm ready to get on, you know, like. Usually I'm redlining right now, you know, like I'm smashed. My body's sore in certain ways that it's not supposed to be. But right now I'm on a leash, and like again, much more professional, and I'm taking week by week, day by day, according to plan, and everything's on track.
We did think we knew where you would be fighting and when, but now it's all up in the air because now it's a world title fight against a defending champion in Murtazlayev. Any preference from you in terms of whether this fight does end up here in Australia or over there in the US?
Oh man, I'd love it to be in Australia first of all, to be fighting in front of again home-time fans. But look, it really doesn't bother me. I'll fight anywhere.
Clearly, you're trying to take this in your stride, but there must be a fair degree of excitement about the fact that you don't have to wait around now. You're straight into a world title fight and back to the top of the tree in the super welterweight division, particularly given what we saw at the weekend with Terence Crawford and everything else going on in what is one of the glamour divisions in the sport. Yeah,
you know, back to being in the position to be, again, two-time world champion, back on the drawing board. I guess being the shot caller, you know, calling the shots and controlling the narrative, and you have that by having a world title. And this is my first opportunity, second opportunity to get back to where I belong and to control the narrative and be able to choose my shots.
Clearly, this has just happened, and I don't want you to jump ahead of the Murtazlayev fight, and it's a very tough fight, but knowing that Terence Crawford is in that division now and a world champion as well, and knowing that Sebastian Fundora is still out there as someone who had that bloody success against you, Errol Spence as well, we're waiting to see what happens with him. What do you want to do if you get through and you become a world champion against Murtazlayev?
Oh, there's unifications, first of all, against the names you just mentioned. There's also Charlo. There's plenty of big name, big money fights out there. So I'm looking to just make the most out of every opportunity and just get my hands on a couple of these boys and strangle them.
Tim, I want to ask you about your training camp and about your brother, who we know is there as well, in just a moment. But finally, before we move on to that and then let you go, just a word to the people of Australia, because it's been a roller coaster. That Fundora fight, it was a tricky one for everyone in the country. We thought we had a world title eliminator coming here to Australia, and now this fantastic news that you're going to fight for a world title straight up. Just give us a word to the people of Australia.
Yeah, look, good things come to those who wait. You know, my victory is their victory. So buckle up, and enjoy the ride, because the next few years and the next couple of months is quite exciting, not just for me, but for the whole Australia. And I'm blessed and lucky enough to be able to share it with everyone around me.
Yeah, well said, Tim. Now tell us about the training camp, particularly training alongside your brother Nikita, who, of course, has that massive fight that we'll see on Main Event Television on Wednesday, August 28 against Koen Mazoudia. How are things going over there in Vegas with the brothers training together?
Yeah, it's good. Again, Nikita's actually, like, I don't usually give him too much props, but he's getting there. He's getting good in this one. Moving differently, IQ-wise, I can see a big dramatic change from the last couple of, let's say, months to where he is now. And I like Koen. He's a good bloke, good fighter, handy fighter. But I don't think this is a different Nikita that you're going to see, and I know that for facts.
Okay, well, you talked about big changes. There's been dramatic physical changes as well. Nikita Tszyu has the same hairstyle as you. Is he there at the moment? Can we get him to come and show Australia exactly what he's done? Because at the moment, we've got a couple of...
I want to ask you a question.
In the Tszyu brothers, with a very different look as Nikita comes to join us shortly. But here he is. And you'll notice something different immediately with Nikita Tszyu.
Oh my God.
The last airbender.
Yeah, my name's Arnold.
Who's done this?
We decided. Oh, it was actually, who cut your hair?
Omar did first.
Yeah, Omar. Yeah. So our chef's been cutting our hair.
Okay.
But he's a bit rough.
Yeah.
He might be a better chef than a barber.
Yeah, he's a bit rough. Oh, for sure. But at least the haircut's all symmetrical. We're going for that army look. Actually, this morning we were training in the outside. We were doing a bit of shadow boxing and doing all this stuff. Some random guy rocks up and says, "Are you guys in the army?" Thinking that we're some soldiers, you know. But nah, we're just boxers.
Just boxers, having a great time there in Las Vegas. Nikita, we'll let you go. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
And Tim, congratulations.
They just wanted to see your hair.
Congratulations on the opportunity that has come. We can't wait to see what plays out, where this ends up, but it's a monster opportunity all the same.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Okay, so that is Tim Tszyu joining us live from Las Vegas. George, how do you feel? Because Tim, he tries to swallow it up a little bit, doesn't he? But you can tell he's bursting at the seams. This is a monstrous fight, an IBF world title fight, straight off the back of what we saw in Vegas.
Yeah, look, I know he's excited. I know when he first found out, he was super excited. And again, I've got to give credit to our team for making this happen. This is not something that was easy to do. The fact that we've been able to do it with guys like Crawford and Spence swarming around wanting these belts, it puts a 154-pound division on notice. Tim Tszyu is coming. Tim Tszyu is about to win a world title, and he's coming for everybody else.
And you're firmly Team Tszyu. You've got to shave the head, don't you? Come on.
I'm not far off. I'm close to it. You've got to keep a little bit of style to it. They should have faded it. They're good-looking kids.
What a final word on Nikita. We've just seen him, and we heard some really exciting stuff there from Tim, who knows him better than anyone about what we should expect on August 28.
Yeah, look, I mean, we'd all assumed that he would get better from this fight, from being over there in the Vegas camp, from getting the sparring that Tim gets. We saw how much Tim grew when he started taking his camps to the US, and now he's saying the same thing about Nikita Tszyu. It is really scary to think that Nikita Tszyu is about to take it to another level, and I'm excited to see what happens because, like Tim said, everybody respects Koen, everybody believes that he's a great fighter, but if Nikita's gotten even better, that's something exciting for the Australian public.
Yeah, it's an exciting day for the Australian public, an exciting day for Australian boxing as well. Thanks so much for joining us, George Rose. Congratulations to No Limit as well.
Thank you, mate.
So that is the news. Nikita Tszyu's got a big fight coming up, but Tim Tszyu has a world title shot. He will take on Bakram Murtazalayev, the undefeated defending IBF super welterweight champion of the world. Thank you so much for joining us for this very special presentation. I'm Ben Damon. I'll see you at the fights.